Hi there, my name's Steve. I work with the Museum of Life and Science. I'm an educator here, and we're working on bite-sized curriculum that you can do at home. Our first activity we're calling Constellation tubes. So a constellation tube is going to look something like this, and you're going to need a few materials to make it. So I'm going to go through some of the materials. Of course, you'll need one of these. I bet you might have one of these laying around these days. It's a toilet paper tube roll. You'll need a couple opaque materials. You can either use construction paper. I've used black construction paper here. You could also use aluminum foil would work. These are going to be the surfaces on which we make our constellation. And you can see on mine, I've made my little constellation already. I drew that out. You don't have to do that. We can make that as we go. But I made one of Ursa Minor, one of my favorite constellations. We're going to need something to kind of hold our opaque material on, so I'm going to be using tape for ours today. I used a pencil to draw my constellation on my construction paper. If you want to do that, you'll need something for that. I cut out my squares of construction paper. I used a pair of scissors to do that. And to poke my holes, you can either use a pencil or today I'm using a shish kebab skewer. So I'm going to start building this for y'all, and you can see how I do it, but you could do it a lot of different ways. You can make your own methods for using these materials, but the way I'm doing it is I'm going to cut a square out of the aluminum foil, just like this. I'm going to make sure that that fits over my tube, which it does pretty nicely. I'm going to fold that into place using my hands. And so what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to make a nice smooth surface on the top. That'll make it so that I can poke holes in the aluminum foil to make my constellation. And so now I need to tape that in place. And so now I've got this piece that kind of stuck on there quite nicely. So now I'm going to poke some holes in my tube like so, and I have to be a little bit careful. I want to make small holes for mine. You could make big holes for yours, but I'm going to make small holes. So to do that, I'm going to be careful. First of all, this is a pointy object. You want to be careful. I'm going to poke a little hole there, I'm going to poke a little hole here, I'm going to poke a little hole here, and a hole here. I'm going to poke one up here, here, and here. And so now what I can do is I have this pattern on the end, and when I look through the tube, I can see my constellation. And so a constellation is a group of stars that we see from our perspective on Earth, and sometimes those make patterns, and we call those different names, and some of them even have really cool stories. And so if you make your own constellation, I think you should make a cool story to go along with it. Ursa Minor has her own story, but lots of constellations have other myths and stories in different cultures. I also encourage you to look those up. So check out stories about constellations, make your own constellations, tell stories to each other. That's the heart of constellation mythology, is sharing stories with one another and building culture around them. Please do that, and if you have a cool story, share it with us too.